Hello. Welcome back to another CNC project video with Legacy Woodworking Machinery. Today we're going to be picking up where we left off on the student desk project. So we produced the 4 legs, and today we are going to be producing the cross sections. We got the 2 cross supports on the top and 2 on the bottom, so it'll be 4 in total. They have some really cool lock joinery on the ends and a mitered overlapping dado joint in the center. Really cool how that's going to take place. So come with me and let's head on over to the Maverick CNC System and produce these components. If you see my recent videos, you're aware that I like to explain my choices and why I made them and point out things that I like and don't like. If you're new to these videos, thanks for being here. I hope you pick up some pointers and learn from my failures. That way you can be better CNC operators when you go try to do these types of things on your machines. Now we're making 2 types of cross supports for this table. We have top and lower supports. Both of them will require 2 machining processes with 2 different types of joinery. Now the first parts we're going to produce here are the top cross supports, and we're mounting these to the horizontal workstation with the T-slot table using Legacy's low pro clamps. These are by far my favorite clamps to hold down hardwood components to my CNC table. It just makes it really fast and easy to get my parts in and out of the machine, and it holds the blank really secure during the machining process. Now one thing you'll notice as we're cutting out different parts is that sometimes we have only one part being cut out of a blank, and other times we have multiple parts being nested out of a blank. Personally, I like to do nesting whenever possible. However, these top cross supports are so wide, I would need a 12-inch wide board in order to get away with that. So here we're just doing one part at a time, and I only need 2 of these. Now I mentioned there's 2 types of joinery. The first type of joinery is going to be cut out in the shape of this part here on the horizontal table. And that's the Lock Joinery. They kind of look like puzzle pieces that will connect the cross supports to the actual table legs. The second type of joint will apply to the part later on after we've cut out the main shape first. With this part I only needed 1 cutter. I used a 3/8 down spiral cutter from Magnate, and it simply cuts out the shape of the part. Here's some quick parameters of what I used during the cutting process. One thing I almost always do when cutting out parts on the CNC is I oversize my blank so I have plenty of clearance for the cutter to go between the part and my clamps. Here I also program 3D tabs to bridge the gap between the part and the original blank. That way everything stays secure and really accurate during the cutting process. I only had to do this one more time for the second support, but let's move on to the second type of support. These are the bottom supports. They're a little bit smaller, and I was able to nest multiple pieces out of a single blank with these components. Again, the nice thing about these low pro clamps being combined with a T-slot table is that I know everything is square and perfect to the machine. All I had to do is slide and shift those clamps to a new position to accommodate my different blank size, and it goes right in just a few seconds. Now these lock joints were small enough that I couldn't use the same 3/8 cutter from before. So I had to use a smaller cutter, in this case a 1/4-inch down spiral cutter also from Magnate, and this only cut out the face of the lock joint. I then switched back to the 3/8 cutter to finish cutting out the majority of the part. One big advantage of nesting parts like this is that you have a lot less wasted material in the end. Again, some situations make it so you can't do this, but if I can, I like to use a nesting strategy. Now that we've cut out the shape that includes all the lock joints for these cross supports, let's go remove the tabs by cutting them on a bandsaw and cleaning them up on a flush trim router. Now we're ready to add the second type of joint, and that is an angled overlapping dado joint. To do this, we have to orient the blank vertically, and the part is long enough I couldn't put this in the vertical workstation that goes across the width of the machine. So I had to put this on the other vertical workstation that goes along the length. This is also known as the door making system, but this works perfect for this type of application. Throughout the cutting process, I need to get access to both sides of this material without cutting into my fixture. So I gave myself additional clearance by providing an MDF waste table as a backer. That way, if I do cut into anything, I'm cutting into MDF and not into my aluminum fence. The hole patterns on these plates make it really easy to set up fences so I can put parts in the same position every time. And I'm using these strong hand welding clamps that plug directly into those 5/8 through holes. These are doing 2 things, acting as a depth stop for the part, but also clamping the part securely to the face of that vertical clamping system. You'll notice I use very specific cutting strategies here specifically for this joint. And that's because I have a lot of exposed edges that can tear out really easy. The first thing I did is I climb milled the exposed edges to ensure I don't have any tear out when I go and cut through the entire dado. I also made sure that the plunging action was happening exactly on the spot that would have the highest chance of tear out on both sides of the board. By doing a controlled drilling motion on the edge of the blank, we're able to remove the material on that exposed edge without tearing out that face. The cool thing about this joint is it's the exact direction and size for every single part. I didn't have to go and create a left and a right joint to make this connect. However, I did need to accommodate for the different material thicknesses. The upper supports are 4.5 inches thick, and so I needed to cut that dado 2.25 inches deep, whereas the bottom supports are only 2.25 inches thick, and we need to cut that dado 1.125 inches deep. This adjustment was so fast and easy by simply shifting those clamps up to the next hole patterns, we were able to accommodate for the different material thicknesses. For all the joinery and all 4 of these components, I added a 10,000ths allowance to both the isolock joints and the dado slots. When dry fitting, I found these smaller isolock joints fit really well, but the larger isolock joints were a little too loose. And I think that happened because my smaller cutter to cut the smaller isolock joints had more tool deflection, meaning the allowance wasn't actually being applied as much. So next time I'll back off the allowance on the larger tool and keep the 10,000ths allowance for the smaller tool. Whereas this overlapping dado joint fit perfectly. I'm really excited how this is turning out. The joinery that's, the isolock joinery that's included with the cutouts is coming together quite nicely. And I really like how that cross overlapping dado joint came to life using that additional vertical workstation. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, if you're interested in learning more about a Legacy CNC system and what it can do for your woodworking capabilities and business opportunities, I recommend you head on over to our website at legacywoodworking.com. Now, if you're just wanting to watch a pile of videos, I don't blame you. There's a lot more right here on our YouTube channel. Now, the next part in this project is going to be the tabletop, and so keep an eye out for that next video coming up. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in that next video.